Well, here we are, doing a couple firsts today. Up at Duck Creek, you can see the truck behind me in the road. We're headed up here into these trees. By we, I mean me and my dog Oakley, because we're the only ones stupid enough to do this. Tried getting a few of my friends to come, well, two of them that I knew I had a chance at convincing. Needless to say, I didn't convince either of them. So, see behind me, I'm hauling a sled with a bunch of gear, including probably 20 pounds at least of firewood. And I know somebody's gonna say that's cheating, and there is a ton of wood up here I can collect, but I just wanted to make sure, since I was bringing a sled already, I might as well, you know, make sure I got plenty of wood to get started. And then I can always gather some wood along the way. The sled is super heavy. You know, it seemed like it could just be nice and easy. The sled's just gonna glide. Not really. Be easier on the way out when I've ate all my food and all my wood's gone, but we're only gonna go a mile or so. See, if you look back behind me over there, that's Duck Creek Pond. Bunch of creeks, well, we call them creeks, that run throughout this mountain, have a lot of brook trout in them. And that's their winter home. And you probably want to know how I plan on fishing that, considering there's 2 foot of snow everywhere. Well, that's the secret. It's got a natural spring, one part of that pond. That's why the fish love it so much. Because come wintertime, it stays a nice constant temperature, just above freezing. And not only that, but the extra nutrients and stuff in the water, more bug activity even in the winter, still little midges and stuff that emerge. This is a fee area. Think they charged me? It is closed. Ain't gonna be nobody up here for a year to pick up the money. Well, I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. Update you guys when I have some new info, or maybe when I found somewhere nice to camp. So, till then. Alright, everybody. I think this is going to be home. Now, normally I really prefer not to camp at a campground. I'll usually, my plan was to just keep going out from back behind the campground into the hills back there. But it is, see what time it is, see how long I've been walking. It's 9 o'clock, so I left the truck at 8, and took me an hour to get to here. Now, if you think walking in the snow isn't going to be very hard, you ought to come out and try it. I figured I'd have no problem with this sled, you know, it would just tow my stuff nice. Well, 100 pounds is 100 pounds, and it was heavy. So it'll take me an hour to walk, I don't know, definitely under a mile. And, you know, I'm beat already. And I showed up to this campground here and thought, man, wouldn't it be nice to have a table to work on? Maybe even a fire pit. So, you know what? We're here to have fun, test out the sleeping in cold weather. So, you know, I'm going to go ahead and give this one to myself, and we're going to stay at the campground. Plus, you know, something happens, I'm about 20 minutes from the truck with no gear on, so about 15 minutes. You can probably still hear the road. That is one thing that I'm not going to like all too much. It's hearing the road, but give me a little sense of security for my first winter camping experience anyways. Definitely two firsts for me. First solo camp ever, and first winter camp. All at the same time. Except I'm not solo, huh? I got Oakley here. Oakley dokley. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and set up camp. I'm gonna eat some food, oatmeal, with my MSR, Pretend to MSR camp stove. Pocket rocket, I guess they call it. So, anyways, that's next on the agenda. Once we get that all set up and going, time to go fishing. Till then. Oh yeah, I forgot before I unpack. I'm going to show everybody my sled system I'm using. So what I did is I just bought a $20 sled from Ace Hardware. It had some divots where, like markers for where to put holes. So I punched some holes in it. And then what I did with this, which I found is really the easiest way to tie something down with just using 550. Maybe it's a little cold. There we go. Is I have a tag end that's just tied on there. Nothing on the end. Now the other side I tie it the same way there, but I put a loop in it. And this loop, when you pull on it, I'm not sure what the knot's called, but when you pull on it, it doesn't tighten up. But all you got to do is take some slack and you can easily change, and that's going to change the length when you move that knot. So your loop gets smaller, your length gets longer, make your loop bigger, length gets shorter. And then to cinch it down, cinch it down, all you got to do, run it through, tie it down like that. And then this knot here, I'm not going to tighten it up one-handed here. When you make your knot here, there's not going to be a whole lot of pressure on this knot, so it's going to come apart really easily, but it's going to hold everything nice and tight. I just go right around here and make a granny knot. So, works pretty well. I dig it. So, there's lunch, beef stroganoff, noodles. Got breakfast here, some rice dishes, oatmeal, coffee, cappuccino, coffee and hot cocoa mix. Kind of mix the two. Here's some seasoning. And what I do with this coffee is I get the instant coffee, and then I find dried creamer and cappuccino mix or cocoa mix of some kind and sugar, and I just mix that all together. I have a buddy of mine, he actually goes through the process of figuring out exactly how much of each one is perfect for him. I just kind of threw it together. Out here, anything tastes good, really, even if it's not the best coffee in the world. Got some chips, some potatoes, great backpacking food here, these mashed potatoes. Oh, they just are killer. I always bring along some flavors for my water. You kind of get tired of drinking regular water all the time. Shout out to Grandma Kathy for getting me some jerky. Definitely come in handy. Space blanket for later. Dog leash. Got 3 beers. Gotta love that. And then in here, Ooh, and here's the good stuff. We got 2 eggs, we got a steak, we got some gravy mix, and some cut up peppers and onions for that steak. That's gonna be good. That's gonna make for one hell of a dinner. So there we go, there's our food. I don't have to be too concerned around here about bears or anything. It is the middle of winter. They're all hibernating if they are, but we don't really have many bears around here. I mean, they're here, they're just not. A little chilly. Got my jacket on. They're around here. So it is possible. You do want to be a little careful, but I don't need to go through any extent of a bear bag or anything like that. I will put my food in my tent if I leave, just so any little critters don't try running off with my steak. Now that I've stopped working, I'm starting to get cold again. So, layer back up. Add a layer, take off a layer. Add a layer, take off. So, stove. Got my spork of steel made by Tapirus. Comes in a pack of 4, perfect. I have a family of 4. Pow. First time using that. Pretty cool. Got our some seasonings, measuring cup, and stove. And this is what I boil my water in and cook in here. Kind of dirty. There's my plate. / frying pan. Which just reminded me that I didn't bring any butter. How you doing, Oakley? I think he's freaking out because he can't find any squirrels. Nothing for him to chase right now. Oh. Now I'm going to try something. Supposedly, you can eat these right out of the bag, and that you don't have to cook them in something. So we're going to try that. 1/2 cup boiling water. Shouldn't be too difficult. Cup. I'm really thinking, I'm just trying. This is my first time using this stove as well. I do realize that container is a little large for that stove. Be better off with kind of a taller, thinner canteen. But this should do the job. Alright, started icing up in there, damn. Okay, well, there we are, folks. They weren't lying. You can make your oatmeal in the package. Look at that. way this little, see, there's a big mountain right here, and it runs pretty far, probably, I don't know, it runs quite a ways, where I'm definitely not going to find out. Tucked against this mountain over here, or against the mountain over there, is a lake called Aspen Mirror, and right over here is Duck Creek, the one I was talking about earlier. Now in the summertime, there's obvious trails and roads, but here in the winter, we're really just winging it. I'm kind of just gonna walk parallel to the mountain, but head downhill a little at the same time until I see a nice spot to come out of this tree line. Once I come out of this tree line, I should see Duck Creek to my left. If I did my job right. A couple feet of snow. Gotta love these Vans snow boots. Double boas. Meaning I think that's what they're called, double boas. Instead of being laces on the outside, it's these nifty little wires. And you twist a, hey look, a bathroom. A lot of calories to get to that bathroom now. Do need to go a little bit more that way, but it's taking a lot of effort. I'm thinking if I walk outside this tree line, I'm not going to have such huge snow drifts. Look at Oakley go. Now, that's a cold weather dog right there. In case you don't know, his name is Oakley. He's coolest dumb dog I've ever met. Me and my wife say all the time that he's very lucky he found a home with us, because if he didn't, I don't think many people would have had the patience for him. Definitely, if you ever decide to own an Alaskan Malamute, or, well, see, he's part wolf too, an Australian Shepherd actually, if you can believe that. His dad was Alaskan Malamute and wolf. And his mom was an Australian Shepherd. But you couldn't tell by looking at him. And they're really hard to housebreak. They really need a strong leader. And you know, we got them, our kids were still real young, and I just didn't have the time to really work with them. I took them to obedience school, which sticks by me pretty good now. But we're at home. These dogs, they love to roam. That instinct's really strong in him, I guess. And so he'll take off a lot. And we have to be real careful. I've actually got a ticket from it for him, or because of him. Had to go to court. Can you believe that? You gotta go to court because your dog's running the neighborhood. Seems like a waste of the court's time to me, but whatever. Here we are. And we're actually looking right at the lake, I think, here. I think I might have pulled this off just right. We'll see in a minute. See, I could have came the way I came in, but there's a river blocking my path, so I'd have to walk all the way to the road and around, and well, didn't seem like a very good idea. Yeah, kind of what I was afraid of. just gonna have to go over here. It's either go here, across this meadow, and try to find the river, well, stream, make sure I don't fall in it, or I had to walk all the way around there to get back to here. So I think we're gonna go with the little more nerve-wracking of the two, but I have walked around this before in the summer. See, not really roughing it. I mean, I'm roughing it, but see, that's a fucking water's edge right there. But you know, we're just tucked back into those trees. Shit, almost seem like you can see my blue tarp, but could just be a shadow. Don't want to sweat. Don't want to sweat. I got too many layers on. Might not do that again. Might just walk around. See, here's the river. Flows right into there. At this point, I think we just kind of got to go for it. All right, that was easy. Got a few bites. Tried first power bait. They love power baits. The problem is these fish are wintering over there, and they're very, very finicky. I mean, they'll bite you, but they're just nibbling. They just put it in their mouth. They don't commit. And so if you don't set that hook just right, you don't get them. And the problem is they really like power bait. The water's so cold with the power bait that it doesn't break apart when you set the hook, so you don't get a good hook set. So I switched to flies, used some flies for a while, tried a red copper john, and tried a bit of brown mayfly for a little while. The brown mayfly, there seemed to be a bunch of little brown flies emerging off the water. So I was just trying to mimic that. No luck there. I did get a couple bites with the copper john, red copper john, but nothing to speak of. See, last year at this time, there were some huge, huge fish in that water. They had all migrated down from stream, and I guess, I don't know if it was just a bumper year and we got lucky, or what the deal is, but it was just crazy. I mean, you could sit there and foul hook them all day long if you wanted to, just right where you could see them. Beautiful. I'll insert a couple pictures here of last year and some of the fish I caught. had some high hopes for this year, but I came here a couple months ago. I wasn't seeing any fish, big fish coming in. So I didn't get my hopes up too much, I guess. But unfortunately, that's how it goes. If I would have caught a fish, it wouldn't have been anything worth keeping. Maybe I could have fed it to Oakley, but he'll be just fine. I'll share my food with him. So. Never done this before. Like, I've gathered firewood, thousands of times, but I've never started a fire in such snow conditions and cold. I have never had to cut down standing trees with firewood, only dead standing trees. And I've never used my axe this year. I hope you can see it. It's a CRKT, Columbia River Knife and Tool. This is the wood chogan. And they call it a tomahawk, 19 inches long, like 1.5 pounds or so. I like it because I can take the head off and just take the head if I need, making my own handle later. And I like the functionality of being able to separate the two. My handy dandy saw. It's just a chainsaw with handles on it. I actually came up with the idea myself, or maybe, I take that back, maybe a buddy of mine, I can't think of who it was. It was kind of like a eureka moment for the both of us. And then I tell my wife, and she goes, they have those at Walmart. So I go to Walmart. Sure as shit, already made, $10 in the survival/backpacking section. Oh yeah, by the way, these are what I was talking about, the Vans. Double boa. Push that in, push that in. I like to tighten the bottom one first, then the top one. And it gives you that adjustability, so when your feet start to get really sore wearing, I don't know if you ever wore snow boots for 8 hours straight, but it really starts to bother you. And this just gives you the adjustment. See, I got to camp, I went ahead and loosened them up so I could get some circulation in my feet. And now that we're going to go back trampling through the snow, I'm going to go ahead and tighten them back up and put my pants over them. Just Converse performance board apparel. I've got these pants probably 10 years ago, and they've, if not longer, they've treated me pretty good. They're about had it. They get wet now. Trip, all right here is wet. Not soaking through or anything. Should be okay there. Alright.
4:45 p.m. It is 30 degrees. Pretty good for 30 degrees. We're going to go ahead and get this fire going, hopefully, so we can have some food. Kind of the deciding factor on how good the night's going to go, so if I can get a fire going. Alright, so I'm kind of trying this new take here on a upside down fire. I am just kind of winging it. I have started many fires, but there's always that chance. Not really though. I didn't bring like tons of contingency plans with me. I got quite a few different ways I could start a fire. See? Fire. Love these little dry bags. I do recommend waterproofing them because water will get through them. They are not completely dry. These are just the cheap Walmart. I wonder if I can find made in China. It's like $10 for a set of 3. They're great for organizing. Alright, show you what we got here. I got these for everybody in my family. It's just a little fire kit. Inside we have some dryer lint, we got some char cloth. Inside of this is some flammable goop stuff you can buy to help you start a fire. Cotton basically with a accelerant. Really fine steel wool. Works really well. If you find steel wool, you don't need a battery. All you need is a spark off your rod. I just got a cheap little $10 Kershaw. So yeah. And of course in here is all my contingency plans. I got matches, I got some of that goop, stormproof matches, some more dry tinder. But at first I think we're going to try to go old school. I'm going to try to get some shavings I forgot. I'm just realizing now. Put all this shit back here. I need some fine wood shavings. I'm afraid that grass isn't going to be quite enough. I do have a lighter, all that good stuff. I'm not an idiot, but this will be fun. First I'm going to try it with the char cloth. I've started it using cotton ball. I've started fires before with using cotton ball and Vaseline basically, or cotton ball and an accelerant, and just a spark. And I have started a fire and brought it to self-sustaining point like that. That was in the middle of summer. Most of the time I just use a lighter and either a fuel tab, or Walmart sells these little packs. That's what I showed you earlier, the little cotton ball deals. Those come like that in those little packs. And I usually just buy those. It's like $2 or $3 and comes with like, I don't remember if it's a dozen of them, or I think it's less than that. It's like 8 maybe. And they always seem to do the trick with the proper, proper method. Using my Leatherman. Never go anywhere without it. I got all three sizes. Got the Leatherman Wave, the Surge, and the Pulse, I think. The Surge would be the big one, and it's huge. And then the Pulse is a little teeny one that my wife uses. Sun's going down quick. So, give this a couple tries. If it don't work within a couple tries, we're just going to have to go with the something a little quicker, because I got to get dinner in me. And got to get ready for bed. Don't want to be out here in the dark, still trying to start a fire. So if I really was in this kind of scenario where I had to use this, I would have started the fire, you know, an hour or two ago. So there we go, some char cloth. Made it with my kids. Take a nice healthy chunk of it off here. Oh no! It smoldered, but then it went out. I did not do a very good job on my bird's nest, I guess. Alright. Well, that's the way it goes. Try again here. My tinder isn't very good either. What I could really use is some pine needles, dead ones. So much harder. I'm cold, man. temperature is 20 degrees, almost exactly. The time is 6:30. Say always eat well. Cold. So on the left there, I got a steak going, and on the right, all the fixings. And I was gonna do steak and eggs, but you know, logistics and stuff. I realized that I'm just better off throwing an egg and all the veggies, and I put a little piece of fat in there from the steak because I totally forgot oil. So that was my solution. And yeah, so we're just letting that all cook up and have us a good dinner, take a couple more shots, and crawl into bed, I think is the plan. Hopefully, just enjoying life, sitting there laying in the snow like he always does. Dog's never been cold a day in his life. Don't know what cold is, that's for sure. I'm in the tent for the night. Just show everybody kind of my setup here. I'm in a mummy bag. It's rated for, I think it's 30 degrees. It's Swiss Sports. Just a cheap bag, works really well. Anything over freezing temperatures, you know, like it's at 30 degrees and it's all you need. Once you get down below 30, I like to add a second bag just because I don't have the money, you know, for a $300 bag. So, anyways, I'm on a cheap air mattress. It's not even an air mattress. It's one of them things you use to lay in the pool with. That you air up. They're a pain in the ass to get all the air out of afterwards. So I got one of those, and then I have a thermarest on top of that. And then I'm in my mummy bag. And in a 1980s negative 30 degree Coleman bag, thanks to my buddy Aaron, who let me borrow that. I was just going to come with two 30 degree bags, one inside the other, but I'm real glad I took this option now that I'm laying in it and my feet are nice and warm. The temp has actually gone up. It's about 30 degrees in here. It's about 8 o'clock. So it is actually 10 degrees warmer maybe in here than it is outside. So that's cool. It's got one jacket underneath him, one over the top of him. He'd be alright without anything. He'll just tuck himself in. He looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. I have a picture of it. I'll put it in the video right here for you to see. But he just like the only vulnerable place on his body is his nose, so he puts his nose right underneath his tail, right in his butt, and basically just smelling his ass all night. But it works. He's taken off on us before and been out in sub-zero temperatures in the morning when we come home, just laying on the front porch. So you can definitely do it. But I like to keep him nice and warm. Both of us had steak for dinner, so both pretty full, and maybe some a movie. I got Super Troopers on my phone, so I'll probably put that on and just hang out in here for a little while, about an hour, and then go to bed. So it's been a pretty awesome day. I'll be excited for the morning to see that I slept nice and warm in here. It'll definitely be a good thing to know. I can take these temperatures, no problem. I think it's at 30 degrees in here right now. Shit, I don't even need my gloves on, so don't get much worse than this throughout the night. I'll be plenty happy, but it is still early. Probably assuming it's going to get down to about 10. But we'll see. About 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's about between 15 and see it get almost down to 10. But really, I stayed pretty warm. There was a couple points where let some parts of me get exposed, and that got pretty cold, woke me up. But just crawled back into the blanket. It was just fine, so wasn't bad at all. I make oatmeal and hot chocolate. Warm my body up before I get out of here. Start packing up. So, yeah. All right. I lived.
Well, here's camp. All packed up and ready to go. Since I don't have any wood, I just put my backpack on there too. Not leaving anything behind. No trash. Bunch of sticks, so I wouldn't call it leave no trace camping. I can't put the snow back the way it was, sorry. My melted bottle. It froze solid, so I put it by the fire. It worked. Beautiful place. Even if I was camping at a campground, still sure nice. Definitely had the whole place to myself. The only one dumb enough to come up here. Except Oakley, he's dumb enough. Alright. There's no time like... There's an Oakley. No, someone's snowshoeing in here.